All right, Commanders fans, how you doing? This is Cody with the Blue Chip Podcast. It's the end of week one. We got that dub. Let's sit here and break it down, man. Let's go over a few things, man. One thing we're going to get over, of course, is the weapons on offense. The pass catchers definitely. They had a big show out, man. They were pretty impressive. Another thing we're definitely going to go over defense. How do we react to Jacksonville? What was like some game situations? Anything that we could have done differently, coaching breakdowns. So to get to rush right in, we're going to start with Jahan Dotson, man. This guy really made an impact for this team this week, man. He really came out cooking, and honestly, I got a lot of things I'd like to say about him, man. This guy was somebody I was very, very high on coming out of college. You're going to see on like these routes, man. This guy just creates separation, man. This guy uses his body in just a lot of ways to really shield himself from defenders. And for a guy that's not very big, you don't really think about that very much. But as you see there, that was incomplete. That was the first ball thrown his way. Played it very well. Went up and caught it. High pointed the ball. Just didn't get both feet in bounds. Probably even just like some things you could say rookie jitters, but just the way he even set the defender up on this play. But it isn't even just about Jahan, man. We can get into all the pass catchers. Actually, all of them were pretty impressive. From Curtis Samuel, man, it was nice to see him healthy. That was a guy I wanted on this team, man. This is a guy that I was telling my buddy Stan a bunch of times how we needed to sign him from Carolina, and then lo and behold, we end up getting Ron Rivera, and next thing you know, we become the Washington Panthers. So it's just kind of funny how that thing worked out. Curtis Samuel wasn't healthy year one, but on this clip right here, man, showing Jahan Dotson's first catch in the NFL. It was a touchdown, man. Really, really well how he just like inside broke on him, man. He set the receiver up, man. He kind of like trailed out a little bit and then just turned his inside shoulder. Had, NFL separation, wins through it in there for a really good gain. To the pass catching thing, man, you definitely want to get Terry McLaurin more than 2 targets, but he definitely made the most of his one of those 2. Both of them, I think, were kind of pivotal. One was the first catch for Terry, man. It was time, it was needed. Looking at this clip, man, this is what I was actually kind of saying about Jahan kind of working his body. The throw wasn't actually perfect for Carson. It was a hell of a throw, but the way like Jahan Dotson's playing this ball and he kind of just like slows his body down, lets the defender kind of bump into him, so the defender's no longer playing that ball. Sticks his hands out, makes a hell of a catch, man. Jahan Dotson was it was very impressive for week one, man, for a rookie offensive pass catcher, man. This guy did a bunch of things very, very good. Another guy I'm going to look up real quick, man, is Derek Forrest, man. See if we can get his film review going up here, man, because he looked very good, man. This is a second-year player out of Cincinnati, man. This is another guy that I was very, very high on. Again, going up against Jacksonville, you got some different factors, man. New coaching, it was definitely a game where you could have gotten like stuck in a different position, like last year when you played the Chargers, man. Justin Herbert definitely is a different animal so far on tape than anything we're seeing out of Lawrence. But again, with all them factors coming into a football game, you just don't know. Overall, all in all, I thought the defense played very well. There was definitely some running lanes. They definitely gave up good running, definitely a negative running average as far as, for a good grade. I think they gave up 6 point some yards per carry, which is definitely not good in the NFL. Another thing I will say is you definitely saw places underneath in the flats where there were receivers at times, running backs at times, running free and wide open. Again, you just don't know if it's something systematically, if it's the defense that's called on that particular play. Derek Forrest has all the tools, though. He was a guy that looked very impressive. I would say that I have more issues with the cornerback play so far from what I've seen. But again, this is 1 week. As far as the defense as a whole, I thought the defensive front had good pressure. We lost Phidarian Mathis for the season, which is actually kind of frustrating because he was definitely a rookie that you took in the second round, man. And, with recent luck in the second round, in history, it's just a tough loss, man. You draft a second rounder, you want him to be an impact, with the depth that we've already kind of been limited on the defensive line with the losses of Tim Settle, the losses of Matt Ioannidis. Now you lose Phidarian Mathis, man. It kind of sucks, man, because, you've invested a lot as far as top-end assets, with first-round picks, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, John Allen and Daron Payne. I will say Daron Payne looked like an animal. He looked like a guy that's hungry. Definitely a guy that's looking for this other contract. If you're checking out the pod on YouTube right now, again, I got video clip up of Darrick Forrest. I'm kind of just going through showing some breakdowns from some YouTube videos of people that have already kind of broken down their games. I'm just kind of giving you my opinion on what I saw. Darrick Forrest, man, looked very explosive, man. Looked like he belonged. Looked like he was in the right area on the field. There was only, I think, one or two plays where I noticed him out of position. A lot of the other plays, he actually looked like he was seeing things before they were even breaking down, and that was very impressive to me, man. Knocking that ball out of Etienne's hands before he caught the ball in the flats, which could have been an easy score. Or he could have put a move on Darrick Forrest. A lot of different things could have happened in a lot of different circumstances for us, as we know, could have gone a different way. But he made a hell of a play on that ball, and then got an interception before the half, or knocked a ball down past the fence before the half. Got the interception to seal the game, man. Darrick Forrest, another shout out for this guy. So let's get to Carson Wentz, man. Let's kind of break down what we saw from Carson Wentz, man. And this is going to be something where I kind of go into the coaches along with what actually was going on in the game with Carson Wentz. The biggest thing that I noticed with Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz this weekend against Jacksonville was very in command of the huddle, especially very early on. We've always known that Carson Wentz has accuracy issues, and there's things that lead to some things such as his feet, just his motion, just his base. He's a big guy and he has all the tools in the world. Sometimes you get away with some things, sometimes you can't. We're looking kind of at preseason right now with Carson. He had a beautiful throw to Terry McLaurin, man. Let's just get that out of the way. The 49-yard touchdown. There aren't many quarterbacks in the league that are making that throw. That is an elite level throw. That is the upside with Carson Wentz that you talk about when you think about adding a player like Carson Wentz to this team. That's something we have not had in a very long time. Even Kirk Cousins dropping the ball in there like that. Kirk Cousins definitely does that with Justin Jefferson. He's done it in Minnesota. He did it here with Deshaun Jackson, but again, we haven't had that type of play since Kirk Cousins. Some of the bad, man. Definitely systematically, I would say after you got up 14-3. You had a really, really big chance to, take the top off of the defense. And I was just looking at, a lot of our play calls and route combinations that we were doing. And, we didn't stack our receivers up a bunch. I didn't think we got we got so exotic on working the ball down the field for long play drives. I think in the NFL, it's so hard to sustain 12 to 15, 18 play drives, all game long, drive after drive after drive. I think sometimes that you got to spread them out, and I think that you could tell that Jacksonville definitely, through the first three quarters, they were really cheating up. 90% of our work was, Curtis Samuel and Antonio Gibson somewhere in the flats. Antonio Gibson had 130 total yards. Curtis Samuel had 11 touches or something like that, man. Nothing over the top, but it was just, a lot of that short not too mid-range game. A lot of things in the NFL that's going to win you football games, is being able to make 5 throws between the deep and the intermediate mid-range levels. And I just didn't see a lot of that. There were a few. The touchdown to Jahan, the play to Terry McLaurin, and the 9 route that he had up. Terry McLaurin had a step, man. Terry McLaurin's a premier player in this league, and it was very nice just to see Carson Wentz get the game back, after making the interception on the screenplay that Trayvon Walker was able to intercept. Man, that was just a good read by him. I wasn't so mad about that play as I was so much just, again, knowing the situation, knowing where they are, knowing that they're back into the game, and they're starting to pick up some momentum. You don't want to wait till a team has hung around long enough, to pick up some momentum that, now you're going to try to take the top off of a defense. Really, man, you want to be able to stagger this through the game. I think there were multiple times where I was just watching the game where I was just like, man, if stacking a Terry McLaurin on, a Jahan Dotson, and doing some kind of 10-yard out, like a 12-yard, skinny post, where you're making the safety, choose between a zone, and maybe the cornerback has a step inside, thinking he has safety help. Well, when you see Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin split that safety and split that corner, it's just like eventually they have to make their decision. And just even be from the aspects of being able to on that double move that Jahan did. If Carson Wentz is actually, looking over that way and giving a pump fake, I think that makes that double move even that much more effective. I think it gains him even more separation on that play. These are just systematical things. These are just things that, can be taught. They can be looked at. This is just a way to improve, all in all, from the offensive system, man, I see only room to grow and only room to get better. This quarterback will get more comfortable in these calls in this system. With the receivers, he'll start knowing more often like where that route is breaking. And honestly, as teams start to come up in the box and start to try to take away the underneath stuff, that's when Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson should really do their best. And we haven't even really gotten into the tight ends. It was nice to see Logan Thomas back. But again, like I say, we just talked about 3 pass catchers, just on the offensive side of the ball, and that doesn't even really talk about J.D. McKissic or Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson had a hell of a game. He held on to the football, looked explosive. They really used him in the way that I really, really loved Antonio Gibson for coming out of Memphis. Antonio Gibson coming out of Memphis, man, he's a very elite, burst athlete, man. Just the toolsy guy, didn't really have a position, but you just knew you wanted to get the ball in his hands in space. For the first time in 3 years since his selection, I feel like we finally did that. Pair him with Curtis Samuel, J.D. McKissic, man, it's just another variation, just another thing to keep this offense going. Again, the tight ends with Cole Turner and Jesse Bates and Logan Thomas, man. I'm just, that's 3 huge tight ends, and honestly, we got another tight end, Amari Rogers, another 6'6". We got some really tall tight ends, to do, good things in the red zone. You got Cam Sims and his size. So, when I look forward to Detroit in this game, I look at the weapons and I think that ultimately on offense, you have to dictate the terms of this game to Detroit. Before we even really get into breaking down what I think you should see on this defense. Again, it's nice to see the weapons, 1, healthy for this team right now. 2, it's nice to see a draft pick come in and look super, super effective and look super, super like he belongs, honestly, closer to the Terry McLaurin level than, already than, most generalized rookies that come in and have to do work, as far as, route combinations and how to set up routes and use, speed to, just when to take their breaks, how to work on timing with the quarterback, getting their hands in sync. He just has a lot of the things naturally that are coming to him great. So it's just nice to see Jahan pan out. This rookie class isn't, just getting started. It's nice to see Brian Robinson on the practice field today, leading up to the Detroit game. This is Wednesday. It's kind of nice just seeing him on the bike. You don't have him for another 2 more weeks after Detroit, but it's nice to see him healthy. It's, God bless that he's actually even, able to still chase his dream as far as football goes. Another thing I wanted to get into was the cornerback play against Jacksonville, man. Kendall Fuller had moments that just scream like, here we go again. And excuse me. And then William Jackson, actually played more in man, something he's more comfortable doing. Again, looks lost more often than not. It's just another situation where you're looking at this roster and you're looking at this defense and you're just wondering why, year after year. It's just, with all the money and all the assets that you're putting into it. Ultimately, I think this year, cornerback is a position that I was very, very adamant about taking one of the best ones last year. In the draft, if you follow the pod, you definitely know that cornerback was a position I'm very, very interested in. This year, I think it's going to be great too, man. There's a boy down in UNC, Grimes, man. I've been watching this kid since he was basically supposed to be a senior in high school. The COVID year, he ended up coming out and playing as a graduated senior during the COVID season for UNC, and he is eligible this year. This guy is sticky. He's a player that I think Washington should definitely have their eyes on. Everybody knows about all the big names. Down in Tuscaloosa, you got that cornerback. You got another cornerback for Texas A&M. You got anyway. Just getting back into it. Cornerback position is just a position that is just not lived up to its expectations outside of Kendall Fuller. St. Juice, you see him on the field, you see him making plays, you see him right there. You can definitely tell that he's reliable in coverage, but with the assets that you have up front on this defense, man, you really want to be opportunistic. And I haven't seen that from this defense yet on the back end outside of the safety position with Cam Curl and Derek Forrest yesterday, actually, which was very nice. So I think when you talk about Cam Curl coming back, you're probably thinking about more taking St. Juice off the field and running more 3 safety sets because Bobby McCain's very reliable. He's very good with communication. You don't have any kind of linebackers that are of the level of any of these guys that you're going to feel comfortable with. I think Derek Forrest is, he's such a rangy, athletic tackler, anyway. I think you can switch him and Cam Curl in the box and, pretty much run anything that you want with those guys. Again, though, I think it's a big win. Looking forward to Detroit. They got Hutchinson, the second pick overall in the draft out of Michigan. He was very effective in the last game. I know he didn't have any stats in the box score, man, but you could definitely tell that guy was getting pressure. He was definitely wreaking havoc, and he was definitely altering the game plan quicker than Jalen Hurts wanted from the Philly game. DeAndre Swift, man. DeAndre Swift is a problem. That's somebody that this staff is going to have to figure out, man, when it comes to linebackers, safeties, the Buffalo nickel, whatever you got to do. Your nickel corner, man, you got to make sure that you have all eyes and all hands on deck for Swift because that boy will torch you. Amon St. Brown is going to probably be a little bit more big and physical than somebody I want to trust Kendall Fuller with. Not that William Jackson plays any more physical, but it might be something that I actually think about trying to match up St. Juice because, they're going to want to put Amon St. Brown in the slot. So I actually look at this as a good challenge for Benjamin St. Juice. I think Benjamin St. Juice, this is the type of receiver that he actually wants to be able to make a name on himself. This could be a big game for him, man. Hopefully he rises to the occasion and steps up to it. Another player that I wanted to shout out from our team, I think he's going to have a little bit more impactful game from the statistical standpoint this week is Montez Sweat. If you go off of just, looking at the game, you could tell that he was getting good pressure on Trevor Lawrence in the second half. Really in the second half, he really was turning it on. A little bit more quiet in the first half, but was still getting close. You could just tell he had a bunch more pass rush moves, man. He just kind of had he had offensive tackles on skates a couple times, man. I just definitely saw chip blocks and protections, focused on keying on Montez Sweat. So I think this is going to be a week that Montez Sweat actually makes his name known. I think he's going to jump out here with a pretty good game against Detroit. Detroit's a team that you cannot sleep on, man. This is a team that you cannot overlook. As everybody knows from Hard Knocks, Dan Campbell, they're going to bite knees, and everybody talks about the same old narratives with this team. But I tell you what, man, week 2, their home opener, man, this is not a game to be overly cocky about, being able to come back against Jacksonville and reel off a win. You want to carry that confidence, man. You want this team to be confident. And I got to say, as the first game watching the Commanders in RFK, it was pretty nice seeing the fans into the game. It was nice to see, this team actually, have a lead and then, get, kind of let the other team back in it, and then for them to re-grab the lead, for them to hunker down and to see Carson Wentz come out there calm, cool, and collected and under poise with pressure. To be able to make the throws that he did, man, I mean, that's something that this team just has not had. It's something that makes me very happy looking, forward to the future of this game, for the future. Another thing I want to say is, Jared Goff, man, this is the type of quarterback, man, that you can rattle. And I think about getting pressure on him with Montez Sweat, man. I really want these D tackles, Deron Payne, man. Keep earning that money, bro. I'd love for us to give it to you here. I don't know how we would make it work financially, but these good teams don't let good players go, and Deron Payne's one of our best players. I wouldn't let him go. So somehow, if I was a capologist, I'd figure it out to make it work, because I keep all these guys. I want to see Chase Young come back healthy, but we got some weeks before we're talking about that. As far as this game goes, man, Jared Goff can be baited into some throws, man, and if you get pressure on him, man, he can really leave some balls out there for your defense to be opportunistic on. And I don't know what the status of Cameron Curl is, but I'm definitely very comfortable with and very excited to see Derek Forrest back out there, wreaking havoc, hopefully maybe putting his hands on another football, looking like he belongs all over the field again. It just raises the level of competition throughout the rest of the team. It's just going to make the overall talent level on the defense better. It's just going to make the top 11 on the defense better. Special teams, we did pretty good with Dax Milne. He had a couple returns past the 25. When he had to. Did a very good job of not having not starting any drives inside the 25-yard line. That's the biggest thing. Didn't drop any balls. As far as the game goes, man, there were a couple turnovers with the Curtis Samuel fumble and the 2 INTs on Carson Wentz. It's just the thing with the quarterback position, man. If you're going to be out there throwing the ball, running that type of play calling, that at that frequency, man, if you're going to throw 41 passes, man, you're going to leave a couple out there, man, for the defense. And luckily, the 2 did not, they led to 10 points, but luckily they didn't end up being more points. Luckily that the team rallied, man, and we answered and we responded to it all. That's the mark of a good team. That's something that you hope for, when you have a quarterback, that definitely has the talent level of Carson Wentz, man. Carson Wentz's issues are never going to be considered, what his God-given ability is. It's usually most of the time to date been, what's inside of his head, what's inside of his heart, but to date we aren't seeing that. We're seeing the team rally around him, man. You're definitely seeing this pass-catching group and these weapons around him respond, which is very good. To the level of quarterback play that they've had around them previously to him, I don't think it's ironic that they're responding, man. I think they all believe in each other. I think everybody can see the talent that's on the offensive side of this ball. Of course, you want to see the defense improve, and I think as the season goes along, man, I think this defense will start to form a niche and form out its identity moving forward. Again, I think there can definitely be some linebacker help added next year in the draft. There's a Texas linebacker Overshawn. I'm really going into my player breakdowns right now, man. I've been scouting a lot of quarterbacks, watching a lot of college football. Anybody that knows me knows I watch a lot of college football. Doing a lot of breakdowns on these players, man, and I'm definitely going to have some reports coming up. Do some midweek pods on some player breakdowns on some players I've definitely been watching. Watching a lot of quarterbacks right now. There's a lot, man. You got Levis, and you got Van Dyke from Miami. You got the NC State kid. You got Bryce Young. You got T.J. Stroud, man. You got Jefferson from Arkansas, man. You got a lot of good quarterback play right now, man. You got some really good linebackers. Again, like I said, Overshawn, and then the NC State linebacker from last year got hurt. He's going to be a stud, man. You got Sewell, the linebacker that's related to Penny Sewell, the top pick for the Detroit Lions last year. 2 years back now, technically, not the Hutchinson draft. But again, looking forward to Detroit. We aren't going to be able to draft a linebacker to help us this week. We're not going to be able to draft a cornerback to help us this week. So again, you're going into what you're running what you brung. And we got some talent outside with St. Just and Fuller and William Jackson, man. You just hope that, continuity really gels, maybe something up front in front of them. The defensive line really starts wreaking havoc on quarterbacks, man, and they start getting their hands on balls. And, if defense gets a little bit of confidence and a little bit of momentum, man, look out, because they got some guys back there that can, do some good things. It's realistically just about it clicking on that side of the ball, man. And if the offense can continue to come out and build and control game plans through the air, if they can continue to hold on to the ball in the run game, just do enough and spread you out, and then even start to take the top off of defenses, vertically, look out, because I'll tell you, man, this defense could really pin their ears back, man, and get after this quarterback, especially, like you said, you get the return of Chase Young in a couple weeks, man. There's a lot of growth for this team, man. But I think the biggest thing, about being a Commanders fan is it's really, really exciting to get Week 1's win. It doesn't happen very often, so you got to enjoy it while you can. But I think the biggest thing is for this team is Ron Rivera keeping the personalities calm, keeping everything in check, because honestly, man, they're going to have to keep it together, man. They're going to have to be focused on Detroit, because Detroit did not win this past week, man. They put up 35 points, man. They're going to be coming, like Dan Campbell says, they're going to be coming trying to take out knees, man. They're just going to keep fighting for 4 quarters, and this is going to have to be a concerted effort on offense and defense to really make a good statement, man, and try to go up 2-0 going into Philly. When Philly's coming here, that's going to be a Thursday or Monday night game. It's going to be prime time. Philly's going to want, they're going to want to embarrass Carson Wentz, and everybody talks about the Carson Wentz revenge tour. He seems to be downplaying it pretty well, but Jacksonville was one of them teams, and he got one, man. He's definitely going to want 2, but you can't look forward to Philadelphia, man. You can't overlook these Detroit Lions, man, or they will get their first win of the season at their home in Detroit, and I don't want to see that, man. I think we have the team to put up the type of points that we need to get the win, and we got the type of defense to hold back on the amount of points that we need to get to be able to win this game. So I think it's going to be big on coaching. I think it's going to be big on this coaching staff to keep a level head. The leaders, Terry McLaurin, John Allen, Montez Sweat, these guys, Charles Leonard Jr., man, he did a great job against Trayvon Walker. I would like to see Sam Cosmi, I'd really like to see his continued growth, man. He looked impressive in spots. Trayvon Walker gave him some work, man. Trayvon Walker's uber talented. So, you see that type of work being done on Sam Cosmi. I think that's something he can go back to on film and, break down. So, again, I'm very impressed with the start, man. It's nice to be 1-0. I'm going to try to get another pod in this week with some college player breakdowns. I'm going to give you a list of guys that I've really been watching at some different positions, linebacker, corner. Like I said, I've been watching quarterback. There's definitely some running backs, receivers I'm going to throw in there. The O-line play has been pretty good on some colleges that I've really been highlighting right now, Baylor and BYU. 2 teams that I've just really been highlighting from the last 2 weeks. Appalachian State, man, they are playing out of their mind right now. The UNC game week 1, and then reeling off a win against Texas A&M. That was huge. So again, like I said, I'll get back into that. Again, this is Cody with the Blue Chip Podcast. We're basically, following the Commanders, IDM players in college. I'm going to do players in college that I really break down, that I really, really like for what the Commanders are looking for going forward. Type of players, attitude-wise, seem to, instinctually play into the system and what we're trying to do, or their skill set, can just be expanded in our system and be even better than what they're already doing. Those are the type of things that we got going forward on the pod. Again, like I said, hopefully we get this dub in Detroit, man, but can't sleep on them. And anyway, I appreciate you guys for sticking around, checking us out, man, and peace.